Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
Both of you guys?
Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was a general.
Right before I said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you, sir.
I apologize now.
I need your corporate number.
Can you tell that I'm shaking?
Talk about how it's misgendered several times in the store.
Oh my gosh.
I need.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I cannot believe that I've been away for a couple of weeks. I want to say months almost. But I have a good reason, because I was finishing up with my thesis and graduating university. I got my master's degree in political journalism. So thankful to my family and friends for their support. A huge thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because none of that would have been possible without God. So yeah, I needed to say that. It's too important to ignore. The first video I wanted to put out today is about this Piers Morgan's clip that came out I want to say 2 weeks ago. I did kind of do a mini reaction on my Instagram page, but after listening to the entire thing, like, I rewatched the video. And I just felt like I could have done more in terms of analyzing what actually goes on in that video. You do want to love people, but loving people doesn't mean you have to give up truth. You can love people and still speak the truth. I think what love truly means, I mean, I'm speaking from a biblical standpoint. The whole idea of love is that it stems from God, right? And so if you love somebody, you're going to be willing to tell them the truth, irrespective of how they're going to react. So I want you to watch this clip from that standpoint. Be able to educate people with love and kindness in your heart, but not forsaking truth.
Well, joining me now is the author and commentator Angelica Mallet, Talk TV's Esther Krakow, and Fox News contributor Tommy Loren. So Tommy Loren, let me start with you. Two people in Britain today who've been at the forefront of not saying what a woman is. One is Nicola Sturgeon, the ex-First Minister of Scotland, who lost her job because of this ridiculous farce of a rapist self-identifying. She tweeted today, proud on International Women's Day to visit my old University of Glasgow, and banged on about women's rights. This is the woman who just literally lost her job for allowing a male rapist into a female prison. And Sir Keir Starmer, who's leader of the opposition Labour Party here, was talking about protections for women in Parliament today, and yet he refuses to say what a woman is. Where are we with this? How has it come that leaders of parties in countries like the UK, and we see a lot of it in America as well, just won't say what a woman is?
Well, first of all, I have to apologize to you, because all of this wokeness originates here in the United States of America, and then we export it to you in the UK.
Yes, you're to blame.
So we started this really in America. Yes, we are. You know, the wokeness starts here, and then it, of course, moves over, and now you guys have to deal with it. The world has to deal with it. But I say this, I'm proud to celebrate International Women's Day because I know what a woman is. So I would say, if you don't know what a woman is, you don't get to celebrate it. You don't get to pretend to be a feminist when it's helpful to you or helpful to your political narrative. You have to be able to define what a woman is. This is all a farce. They are seeking to erase women, and this is the radical rainbow mafia, as I call it. This is not your average LGBT activist. This is the rainbow mafia section of that radical LGBTQ movement that has made women less than, and then has elevated all of this transgenderism and all of this pick your gender, identify as potato. They have hijacked the women's rights movement, the feminist movement, and actual feminists should be really pissed off about it.
What she said is really interesting, which is something that's going to come up after, like later down in the video, is that if you kind of give this, I don't know, this blank space, if you like, to people to say, okay, pick your gender, you know, you want to wake up tomorrow and say you're a man, great, good for you. You want to wake up tomorrow and say you're a woman, good for you, whatever. That is not okay, right? So why do we continue to enable this?
Well, as a feminist, I am. I recently interviewed Angelica, the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, and I asked him this question, which seems to stump many other leaders. Here's the clip. What is a woman? We know that Nicola Sturgeon can't answer that. We know Keir Starmer can't answer that. You're the British Prime Minister. What is a woman?
Yeah, of course I know what a woman is. Adult human female.
It's not difficult, is it, Angelica? I mean, that is what a woman is.
I mean, I don't know why you're obsessed with defining it. Like, what is a man? Like, why do we need these arbitrary...
A man is a male, adult human. I mean, that's it.
Right, OK. I don't know that we need
these are just biological facts, but they're just facts. They're not arguable points, are they?
You're the reason I have to be specific these days. Like, legitimately. People used to laugh and joke around, oh, if you go out on a date with a woman, you always have to ask, well, are you a biological female and blah, blah. I mean, I don't find that funny, but I think it's actually true. Okay, you got to ask. She's asking, why do we need these arbitrary, terms or definitions or whatnot? We actually do. Think about it. What kind of society would you live in if no one knew anything about anything? Like, a table is a table for a reason. A chair is a chair for a reason. Women are women for a reason. Men are men for a reason. And it's absolutely fundamental that we make that very clear. Because right now it's like, okay, dude, if that's not clear, what else can be clear? Like, if you can hijack womanhood and manhood, what do you think is going to happen to every other area of, like, human existence?
But I think we have a right to self-identify, and you said you want to.
As what?
If you'd like to be a woman, you can identify as a woman.
Okay, let's stop right there. Did you hear what she said? She said, if you like to be a woman, that's it. That point, in my opinion, Piers Morgan should have just said, you know what? There you go. That's your answer. You just said that if you like. So it's not about something that you feel inside of you, like there is a mismatch, which, again, let's be clear. There are people who have been clinically diagnosed as suffering from gender dysphoria. That is a real mental illness. That is a separate situation. Let's take a step back. Are you now saying that it's just something you can choose? Like, you're not a woman because you were born a woman. It's something you can choose. Doesn't that debunk your argument of you saying that these people don't make these choices? It's just who they are. It doesn't make sense. Because let me tell you something. The moment we as individuals start to redefine who God made us to be, everything crumbles. It's like a house of cards.
You can identify as a woman. I don't know why there is such an issue around...
We've literally just seen a male rapist use that scam to get himself put into a female prison where he could attack vulnerable women inside a female prison, when even his ex-wife said it was all a scam.
Which is a terrible, very distressing, isolated incident. And I think it's easy to take that and say that means that no one can identify as a woman. And
but it's not an isolated incident, though.
But it's
42% of trans-identifying prisoners in prison are in there for sex crimes. There's actually an advantage, evidently, to identifying as a female, because they never identify as male, because somehow male prisons seem less appealing to them. It's really weird.
Bam! How about that? Somehow, male prison, right? It just doesn't appeal to them. Dude, if you're a rapist, are you gonna go to a male prison? No, of course not. Now we've got legislative systems in place enabling rapists, pretty much, in America, in Scotland, and who knows where else.
Anyway, but
is it limitless, this self-identity?
It's not totally limitless.
What's the limit?
When you're talking about International Women's Day, I don't know why we take the conversation around International Women's Day and make it about this.
But if anyone...
There's so many benefits.
Right, but if anyone, according
to
to you, can identify as a woman, anyone can, right?
I don't see a problem with...
Just literally put their hand up and say, I'm a woman.
But it's not an easy thing to do, to go out into
Actually,
the world.
It's very easy.
Very easy.
You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say,
what
this
does
is
doing
who...
it involve?
Whatever that person decides, but to
Does
go
it
out
involve
into the
makeup?
world and say, I don't identify as perhaps the sex I
So
was
why
born
can't
as.
I identify...
Not...
OK, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was...
Well, I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I, on International Women's Day, say, I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status,
I think
we're
that's
talking
what
about quite a
with
strong
respect, I think that
change.
you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say, I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually, I think what you said ridicules trans people, because actually people who go through the full process of transition, who actually go through what we used to call a sex change, which I don't think you can muck around with original biology, but those who actually go through surgical procedure over a number of years, I've got great respect for that very difficult journey they go on. I have zero respect for people who just wallop their hand up and go, suddenly, I'm a woman and I want all the rights that a woman has and I want to compete, say, in sport. I'm a 6'4" athlete, sprinter, swimmer, whatever, who's competed very mediocrely in male sport, I now want to come in and crush women in swimming pools and in sprinting events and break all their records, perhaps irrevocably, just by saying, I'm a woman. I think that is the absurdity you were talking about. My response was to say, well, if it's limitless, why can't I then say whatever I want to say? And you say immediately, as I knew you would, well, that's ridiculous. But my point is, you were being ridiculous.
Well, that's your opinion. You can think I'm ridiculous, but I don't think you can say, well, it has to...
I don't know why I am, but you're not.
I don't think you have to say it's post-op is the only way that someone's allowed to identify
Well,
as
the
trans.
original
This is
standard
not
for,
us
hold on,
to
the original
decide.
standard for being transgender was being diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which is a legitimate condition.
That used to be it. You might want to think that, oh, well, it recently changed. I don't think it recently changed. I just think the conversation has gotten heated a lot, just, lately. But in my previous video about gender dysphoria, I actually touched this particular aspect because very intelligent journalist by the name Abigail Schreier, I think I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. She did a thorough research that led to the book, and her discoveries, which you can find out in my previous video, is just mind-blowing. So the conversation has just gotten heated, but this has been around for quite some time now.
And now it's being, however way you feel. So if you feel on Tuesday you're a woman and on Thursday you're a pizza, that's perfectly valid. But to you, that's ridiculous. And I want to know why that is ridiculous. We should be talking about actual women on International Women's Day. That's not crazy.
I mean, I agree. I think, but your idea of an actual woman...
The chromosomes, it's pretty
It's an adult female. It's not
The
difficult.
chromosomes are a pretty good indication.
I don't think you have to be biologically female to identify
Then
as a
you are
woman.
wrong.
I love her. It's like there's no argument there, okay? You are wrong. Point blank period. We can stop the conversation right now because there is how do you recover from that?
Because then I can identify as a fox.
Yeah.
But again, it's
You
a kind
can.
of absurd point.
How many?
Like,
Well, let me ask you this.
what's
Let me
an
ask you
animal?
this, Angelica. How many genders are there?
2.
There are 2 genders.
Oh.
Wow. So you don't believe in transgenders at all?
Well, I think there are...
Whoa, hang on. Whoa.
Pick a side. There are either 2 genders, and that's it, whereby you can say you're either one or the other, or we're all in this, gigantic pile of mess, and people can just do whatever they want. But you've got to pick a side. You cannot tell me how to think. You're welcome to express yourself, tell me your opinions, and we can have discussions, but you absolutely cannot change the truth. There are biological facts that cannot be debunked just because you feel a certain way. Like I said in the beginning of the video, how you choose to react to certain things, that's completely you. It's 100% you, right? At the same time, you have the right to defend truth. But anyways, guys, I honestly wanted to talk about this just because I've had enough. Personally, the discourse is almost one-sided because every time someone with a little bit of courage tries to defend truth and just say this is what it is, nothing against anybody, but we cannot be silenced into believing a lie, it's like you're against somebody. No, I'm not necessarily against you. I'm just for truth, and I'm going to speak truth regardless of who it hurts.